Oh hey, it's summer and you guys know what that means. It is time to prepare for your college applications. And no, that is not a joke because now is the perfect time to prepare. So I'm about to enter my senior year at Harvard. That is very surreal to say. And I did view my admissions file my freshman year and I kind of filmed the video back then, but then I was like, this just like does not seem right. And then also that was just like cringe, so I was like, I wasn't gonna post that. But now I'm older, I feel like I've had like most of the college experience, you know, under my belt already. So ever since Harvard's little predicament in court, they released all the info you basically need to know on what they want to see in a successful applicant to Harvard College. We're gonna look at that today and I'm gonna tell you guys what was on my file. I'm not gonna say like what exactly was on it or obviously show it. I'm not allowed to do that. I only have some notes and I'm gonna paraphrase what the admissions officers and my interviewer said. Just a background on how exactly the Harvard admissions file looks like. It basically is like a document with like all your like relevant info on top. And then they have your ratings. They rate you on a scale of 1 to 6. 1 being the best, 6 being the absolute worst. And I think most admitted applicants range anywhere between a 1 and a 3. So yeah, keep that in mind and just know that 1 is incredibly difficult to get in any category. So I'm gonna put a picture of like the little like rating grid on the screen here. The first one, the big one, is overall. Then we have academics, then personal qualities, then athletics, then extracurriculars. SSR means secondary school report, and then those boxes next to that are all your teacher recommendations. So it includes all the important info you need to know in this holistic admissions process. So it said my GPA was a 4.0 out of 4, and then right next to that it had like my high school information. It said like percent to 4 year. I think that means like, oh, the percent of people like from my high school who would like go on to a 4-year college. That's 40. So you can imagine what my high school was like. My program tier specifically was most demanding. My exact rank in my class was 6 out of 357. I was admitted in 2021 regular action for the Harvard class of 2025. And then it has this thing called academic index. And I was like, what the heck is academic index? I searched this up and this is basically just a statistical like number of how well you have done academically, but only academically, nothing else. So mine is 230 out of 240. Said I'm from Georgia, Savannah area. In my area, in my year specifically, there were 4 people admitted. So extremely low admit rate, and also just like application rate in general, I guess. No one from Southeast Georgia really like goes on to schools like these. So yeah, it was hard. And just have my personal info, my dual citizenship for some reason, US and Germany, my ethnicity, Asian and white. My intended concentration was biomedical engineering. That has completely changed. My intended career was physician. That has also completely changed. And then it has like my top 2 extracurriculars that I indicated on my Harvard application that I wanted to pursue at Harvard College, which were dance and orchestra. I never joined. Dance I did, and that was a whole mess. Anyways, then I think there was a little thing that said like ATH, which means like athletics. I was not admitted for athletics. And then likely letter, also did not get a likely letter. However, I did get a likely letter from Columbia. So then it said fee waiver, no. Financial aid, yes. And then it said IMP est, which means I am Pell estimate, said no, so I was not eligible for a Pell Grant. Low income, low. HFAI, which stands for Harvard Financial Aid Initiative, said unlikely. So I'm assuming I was unlikely to get into that. That's and I quote, a recruitment program that serves as a touchstone for those looking to learn more about the application financial aid process, both at Harvard and at large, unquote. So yeah, so I was qualified for financial aid, but not to the extent where I would get into something like that, I think. I think that's what that means. Now onto my ratings. Looks like my 2 different admissions officers gave me the exact same ratings. Oh wow, this is kind of crazy. Wow, okay. So I submitted my application like early January, like January 1st or something. My first one looked at my application January 7th. Second one looked at my application January 23rd. So these are the ratings they gave me. Overall, I had a 2- rating. And then in academics, I had a 2-. Personal qualities, 2-. Athletics, 4. I don't know why it's a 4, but it's a 4. Extracurriculars was a 2. And then my SSR secondary school report, I think that's from like my report or counselor report overall, I don't even know. That was a 2+. My teacher recs, I had 3 specifically for Harvard. I had a 1-, a 1-, and a 2. I'm very happy about those 1-. Yeah, then I just had like more like personal info on like my parents and their jobs and stuff like that. My sister as well said that my parents are employed, they're professors at university, and my sister was younger than me. And then it has your EC grid, your extracurriculars grid. These are the extracurriculars that I submitted to Harvard on my Common App application. So first up we have research, where I was a research assistant for this medical imaging lab at Georgia Southern University. This was only during my senior year, and I dedicated 5 hours a week for 36 weeks to this. Then I have research assistant for this chemistry lab at Georgia Southern University. Also, only during my senior year, I only dedicated about 2 hours per week for 36 weeks. Third, I have independent research for the Breakthrough Junior Challenge. This was in 10th grade for me. This was during the summer, and that was 20 hours a week for 4 weeks. Fourth, I have choreographer of theater productions. This was in 9th, 10th, and 12th grade, all 3 years of high school for me because I had no junior year of high school. This was all year long, and this was 10 hours a week for 48 weeks total. Then we have music director for the theater program at my high school. This was in 10th and 12th grade. This was during the semester, 5 hours a week for 36 weeks. Then we have student director for my theater program in high school. This was in 12th grade during the school year for 5 hours a week for 36 weeks. Then we have playing piano for community service at a local retirement home. And this was in 9th, 10th, and 12th grades, all year long, 5 hours a week for 52 weeks a year. Then we have founder and president of a club, the Cultural Appreciation Club in my high school, only in 12th grade during the school year, 2 hours a week for 36 weeks. Finally, I was founder and president of Mu Alpha Theta, the chapter in my high school, my senior year during the school year, 1 hour a week for 36 weeks. Now, on to the notes from my admissions officers. All right, so my first admissions officer said that I had done so well in high school that I'm graduating a year early, simply because I had amassed so many credits at such a high level that I wouldn't have had more courses to take in another year of high school. And that's exactly what it was. And then this admissions officer noted that even this year, like my senior year of high school, my secondary school report had to be creative to make sure that I had enough to learn in my high school. They said even as the youngest student in her college courses, she was one of the best students that many of her professors had ever had, and other college students sought her out for help with the material. That's kind of crazy because I actually waived my FAFSA, and 2 of the recommenders I had were college professors through dual enrollment, so I don't know exactly what they said, but this admissions officer made that comment probably based on their recommendation, but I am not allowed to know exactly what they said because I waived that. And tip for you guys, I think you guys should waive the FAFSA. Then they said that I had found success in everything from STEM research to dance to piano, and I combined many of my interests through directing, choreographing, and accompanying the theater performances on piano, which is what I did in basically every theater production in my high school that I was in. They talked about the piano piece on Slide Room that I submitted, which is like the music supplement that you can do if you want for your application. They just noted that it should probably be submitted, otherwise they can see what else we can learn from my file and go from there. I think that's what they said. And then my second admissions officer said that it would be helpful to pull up to Statesboro, Georgia, my hometown, on the map to situate themselves where I'd grown up. I think they really wanted to like understand the context of, you know, my background in terms of my school and what my hometown was like. They noted that both my parents were professors at a local university, and the landscape showed that the school is quite stressed even if Helen's family is not. That is true. Then they noted that I was on the President's Honor Roll at Georgia Southern for dual enrollment after maxing out on all my high school courses and proceeding to take classes at the university. Then they noted that in addition to all the STEM research I had done, I was very involved in dance and piano. It said that my secondary school report said that I was exceptional and every subject is my best subject. That is a very nice thing to say. I think that was from my counselor. Teacher recommendations from my college professors called me the best among their college students. The last note that this admissions officer made was that I was a fine case worthy of comparison. And now onto my alumni interview form. So in my case, I got incredibly lucky. I had the nicest interviewer ever, and I was honestly so nervous. I thought I was like tweaking during the interview, and I thought that I wasn't doing well because I was like stuttering, and I kind of still have that problem sometimes to this day. But he seemed to have made really nice comments about me, which I was honestly surprised about. But overall, it seems like I did make a good impression with my interviewer. So this was on Zoom on January 21st, 2021. He was an alum from Harvard College, back in the 60s. In his specific notes for my personal qualities, he said that personal overall was a 1-, openness to new ideas and new people was a 2, potential contribution to college life was a 1. What kind of roommate would this student be? 1. Truly unusual, in parentheses. And then personal rating pros. He said that I was delightful, funny, easy to talk with. He called me intelligent, self-motivated, and creative, and he enjoyed his 45-minute online conversation with me very much. He said that I've learned to organize my life in order to participate in all of the activities that I've come to enjoy, which include dance, piano, research, theater, all that jazz that I kind of described before. He noted my dual enrollment with high school and college, and he explained how I received A's in all my college classes, which included foreign language classes, math, and science. And then he said that I spoke with him very comfortably and in depth on my knowledge of and enjoyment of composers. We talked about Edvard Grieg a lot because I was playing Grieg a lot at that time. And then he said that I spoke of my love of the writings of the African-American author Zora Neale Hurston. And then he noted that this was an author that we both admire. And we talked about the novel Their Eyes Were Watching God because I just read it at the time. He really liked the way I talked about the book. Then he put in parentheses how we taught about Hurston's work at the college level, and he said that I believe that Helen's knowledge of this writer would make her at ease in any graduate level literature class. At the end, he said, we shared jokes, mine a bit corny, Helen's a bit more sophisticated wordplay. I think that was a little too nice, but yeah, he was an incredible interviewer. And then in the extracurricular, athletic, community, employment, and family commitment section, for my extracurricular rating, he put a 1-. Then he explained that I come from a multicultural background. My dad is German, my mom is Chinese. And then he talked about dance. He was like, oh, I was a dancer, participating in dance around 6 days a week from ballet to hip hop. He said that I've qualified for national competitions. One of them was Fusion National Dance Competition, if you guys want to search that up. And then he said that I became a choreographer for theater. He said I worked with my theater program in high school and I became a co-director of many of the productions. He said they were currently working on Disney's Lion King. We were not working at Lion King at the time, but we were working on Beauty and the Beast at the time. So I'm sure he just like had all his like notes like super mixed up, but Lion King was like one of my first ones that I did, and then Beauty and the Beast towards the end of my senior year. Not that that's relevant, but just so y'all know. And then he said that I play piano, often for overtures for the plays or musicals for my theater program in high school. Then he said for herself, she plays Beethoven, Debussy, currently The Girl with the Flaxen Hair, and also a piece that he really loved. So we talked about that together. Then he talked about Grieg again, how he traveled to Norway and visited Grieg's home near Bergen. Then he noted in parentheses that I posted 5 of my piano performances online on YouTube. That's actually how I started YouTube, not the college decision reactions. It was my little piano covers. My favorite one is the Beauty and Beast medley I did. That was like one of the hardest things I did as an overture in theater. I'll link it here if you guys want to see. The other ones are less impressive. And then the last thing he said in this section was that every week I visited a local retirement home to play piano music for the residents. And then in the academic section, he said my academic rating was a 1-. My love of learning was 1, truly unusual. Intellectual curiosity, 1, truly unusual. Intellectual originality, a 2. Academic pros. He said that I would graduate a year early from high school because of the 8 college level classes that I've taken and of the grade A that I received in all of those classes, including Chinese, German, chemistry, Calc 1, Calc 2, and Calc 3. He talked about how like I did have like APs, but those were not really enough for me. Again, talked about how we at length and in depth of my interest in Zora Neale Hurston, and he said that as a former college English professor, he was impressed with my knowledge of the writer, but also of the literary technical terms and devices used by Hurston. I don't even know if I really talked that well on that, but that is very nice. And then he said that my current major academic interest was in medical imaging technology, and he said that I worked to produce computer images for medical staff, which was kind of my research in high school, and honestly kind of still my research right now with Mass General Hospital. The wide range of my interests is remarkable, as in the depth of knowledge that she has had in each of her fields of interest. Her academic abilities coupled with her abilities in dance and music make her a particularly strong candidate for Harvard's liberal arts environment. He said I look to Harvard as a college environment where I can continue to explore and expand all of my interests and abilities. And I do remember talking about that with him, like how I was really looking forward to the wide range of opportunities that Harvard College would have for me and my wide range of interests. And it's honestly been great because it's allowed me to kind of change my mind a lot as well, because I'm no longer pre-med, but I study neuro now and it's great. Then in this academic session, there was a question that said, If you're familiar with a student's school or neighborhood, is there anything you feel might have affected the student's opportunities that the admissions committee should know? He said, as I noted above, Helen says that her high school offers limited AP course opportunities, one reason why she decided to take a large number of college courses. That kind of sums up how my high school experience was in the under-resourced area I was in. Okay, overall rating, overall 1-, overall rating pros. Helen Pilner is a perfect candidate for Harvard with her wide range of interests and abilities. He called me a charming person who seems comfortable on a multiple number of levels of interpersonal communication. He said that as a former college professor, he would have loved to have me sitting in any of his classes, which is so nice. And then he just said that there was an easy flow of conversation. So again, I got incredibly lucky with my interviewer. I think that was honestly the pushing point in my application, if I had to guess. Okay, so now that I've had 3 years under my belt at Harvard, I can kind of like analyze more on like what exactly helped me. We have all the stats from the file, but I think I can reflect on myself on like what helped me the most. And if you guys really want to check this out, I have published this in this new website called My App IQ. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this video. And this gives a detailed description of why I think I was exactly admitted to Harvard. And if any of you guys out there who are not high schoolers got accepted into a top 20 college, please submit your application analysis to My App IQ if you want to earn a little extra money. It will greatly help out so many high schoolers who are trying to get into a school like this, and it's just becoming so increasingly competitive these days. So I think it's really important to have websites like My App IQ who are really like providing like the detailed analyses of why these different students got into these schools. And if you would like to submit your own little case study to My App IQ, you can submit their application by going to their website, link down below, and you can fill out a form to be considered to be used in a case study. Thank you again so much to My App IQ for sponsoring this video. So yeah, I'm going to link down below like all like helpful articles I have found on this. Right now I have pulled up this article from the Wall Street Journal, kind of really like it shows the actual summary sheet provided by the Harvard admissions office, and it'll show you like the little ratings boxes and like all the other info and your like EC grid. And then this article says that there are roughly 200 variables that play in the Harvard admissions process. So I just told you guys like all the notes I had on my personal admissions file, but 200 variables. Like think about how much thought was put into this, like in any applicant. Some of the stuff I see on this article right now, and I'll link it down below, is like class year, gender, your parents' education levels, your lineage, your double lineage, if you're a child of Harvard faculty staff, are you deans or directors interest list? I don't even know what that means. Your academic index, which is what I was explaining earlier, all your different ratings, all of your alumni interviews, whether you have a missing alumni interview or not, all your ratings for athletics. Basically, if you're recruited for athletics, I think you get a 1. And they have like these variables on whether your parents are deceased or not, if they attended another Ivy or not, if you're from a metropolitan or rural high school, average AP test taken in your neighborhood. So much. I'm just like reading like stuff I see on this card right now, but I'm going to link this down below so you guys can kind of gain more understanding on how much really goes into this admissions process, because that's insane to me. Like, I was in Legacy, I wasn't recruited for sports, and I did not come from a feeder school, and I did not come from like, you know, one of those like competitive high schools or like prep schools that's like pushing you to get into that. If this video can just help one person gain more of an understanding of how someone like myself got into a school like Harvard, then that would make me happy. Yeah. So that's my admissions file. Kind of crazy to look back on that now, like 3 years later. That's like over 3 years later. It's so insane. I think I'm talking way too much now. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please comment down below any other video ideas that you guys would think would help you specifically. And, you know, any vlog ideas, or just whatever you want to see. Thank you guys so much, and get started on those college applications. Okay, bye.